actually quite breezy this afternoon, but it's also very warm. I'm beginning to wish I'd actually put shorts on today. But as I've just walked down here, I've just looked across and there's quite a pretty scene here. There's some kind of park on one side. There's a building on the other side which has got quite a nice kind of facade to it with railings. Yeah, there's some air conditioning units on there. And then there's a church tower sticking up. I don't think it's particularly old, but it's still quite attractive. So we're looking at probably just a straightforward wide angle shot. I'm going to go for a vertical composition, bringing in the trees and that on one side and the building coming down on the other side. Some kind of gardens or park or something over there, which is quite by the church, but it appears to be closed. I don't know if it's only open at certain times of the day or on certain days. It's all locked up. Okay, it appears these gardens are open. Just have to come around to a different gate. My first thought was to shoot this standing right in the middle of the path and looking down, but if I do that from this distance, which is where I want to shoot this particular image from, then the tree up on the left overlaps with the tower and I want it to be separate, so I'm going to have to shoot at a bit of an angle. Now, I'm a big believer that if you're going to shoot straight down a line, it needs to be straight down. It needs to be, equal on both sides and straight down the middle of the frame. If you're going to shoot at an angle, it needs to be an obvious angle. If you shoot at just a little bit, it kind of looks like it's sloppy. It just doesn't feel right to me. So I'm going to go slightly to one side and bring this path in from the lower left-hand side of the frame across, but probably still with the church in the middle of the frame. So I'm doing a shot now. The path is coming in lower left and the church is in the middle of the frame. And I've got this lamppost here as well. Nice view down here using these paths and these trees to lead around to the church. The problem is there's a big palm tree over on the right hand side here that I've got to be careful to keep out of the frame because it dominates things too much. But this palm tree here makes a really nice anchor into the scene. Paths make a nice line into the scene as well. And I need to correct the verticals a little bit in post. church is proving to be very photogenic. There's a couple of kind of double pillar things here, quite ornate, lions on the top, and they make quite a nice frame for that church as well. And there's just a hint of cloud in the sky, not very much, but just enough to make it a little bit more interesting than a completely clear blue sky. As is often the case, the tricky bit is trying to simplify things because there's quite a lot of trees around, and if you start having them part in and part out of the frame, it tends not to look so good. So this is one of the reasons why I often favour, particularly in busy scenes, a vertical composition, because it is much easier to simplify things with a vertical composition. Some kind of, I don't know, feature here. I think it might actually be for water, but it's got loads of flowers around it. It's quite ornate. There's some hedges in the background with some beautiful sort of pinky, purpley flowers on, and then the church in the background. Again, I'm thinking maybe just having the path leading into it just a little bit and making sure that I keep the trees away from the church tower. Difficult because there's branches this side that are just coming into the frame. Only a small town, but that very nice looking church and those gardens really made it worth having a wander around. Now I'm just going to jump in the car, drive a little bit further out of town, and then go for a walk along to have a look at where the river runs past, because I believe there's another one of these wooden bridges like I photographed a couple of months ago probably now, but I said I was going to come and have a look at it, and now I am. This is the bridge that I was coming to look at. Now unfortunately it's been fenced off. There's big like railings across both ends of it and even some warning tape across there. So I'm assuming there's a safety issue with it and you're not allowed on it. And it also doesn't make it look particularly photogenic with all that stuff there. I'm going to have a little look around the area just to see if there's an angle to shoot it at or if there's anything else immediately around here that kind of grabs me. It's quite windy out here today. I don't know, we'll have to have a look and see. Ooh, quite windy, like I said. I found this other bridge, kind of metal and concrete, so I'm going to get the camera out and see if I can find a shot to do here. I'm wondering whether I might need to get low down to try to bring the far background below the bridge, put the whole bridge up in the sky above the horizon, but I don't know if that's going to work. I don't even know if it's going to be possible. No matter how low down I get, I can't get the far background below the bridge. It's just not possible. So I guess we'll just have to do what we can with it. Almost certainly going to be black and white, this one. So just with the water going in and disappearing under the bridge, then the bridge forming an arc against the sky, a little bit of wispy cloud up there, which as a black and white, I can pull that texture out a little bit. It just makes the sky look a bit more interesting. And that's so often the case. I kind of feel like a vertical format is going to be better. The bridge is going to fill the frame from side to side. Not entirely sure how much I trust this bridge. I don't think there's anything to shoot from this side. It's too overgrown, can't really see the bridge at all. So I'm going to go back on the other side and just walk down a little bit the other way, just to see if there's any views or anything else there that grabs me. Bit of a shame, this bridge being closed off like this, but there you go. I'm going to try two more shots. I'm going to do one 11mm looking straight down here, try and keep it symmetrical, and I'm shooting it this way because this way is a cleaner shot. If I shot this from the other side, there's actually a house over this side. It is definitely a bit breezy, but if I shoot it from this side, there's only trees in the background, so it could work. Going to try to make sure that I keep both sides symmetrical. We've got some quite nice shadow patterns also on the bridge itself. And then the last one I'm going to do is I'm going to swap over to the fisheye lens and get all that exaggeration in there. So 7.5mm fisheye, and it'll be about f8. And what I'm going to do on this, I'm going to put the horizon line across the middle of the frame, because that way the horizon will be straight rather than curved. So it effectively, the middle of the scene becomes very much just like a super wide angle. There'll still be some curvature at the edges, which will work nicely with the shapes of this bridge, hopefully. It's a bit of a flare of light coming in from up above, which I'm not so keen on, so I might have to angle down a little bit more, take a bit of the sky out. I'm trying to make sure it's as symmetrical as possible, although there's no guarantee that the bridge itself is symmetrical. So that was Jacarilla. Nice little town, very pretty church, lovely gardens, and that bridge out of town over the river that unfortunately not quite as photogenic as I was hoping it was going to be, at least at the moment while it's closed and quite overgrown. It's been a very pleasant afternoon's photography. I've certainly enjoyed it, and I hope you've enjoyed coming along for the ride. Thank you very much for watching, and until next week, bye.